You look at Google Maps versus Ovi Maps, and in one sense, yes, it's about navigation, because that's the compelling consumer offer at the moment. But look a few years down the road, everyone's getting navigation for free. What about the services that are built on top of that? What about turning maps into a platform? We think of smartphones as a platform for apps, but actually, Maps as a platform for apps is just as compelling, and Nokia's been talking about apps on maps for about the last year, and it through things like the Ovi Developer SDK enables third parties to build applications on top of Ovi Maps or indeed inside Ovi Maps, which offers a great deal of potential for location-based services. Now, one big thing about this announcement, of course, Nokia is saying goodbye to a whole bunch of revenue from navigation, but that revenue looks like nothing next to location-based services as a whole, and they're opening it up as an open platform to third parties. So developers can be really excited about this announcement, because not only does, they've already got it opened up and they knew that was coming, but by making navigation free, Nokia is suddenly going to massively increase their user base. People are going to have Ovi Maps on their phone, and any canny developer is going to go, hey, this is Nokia, about 50% of the smartphone market. The Ovi Maps is pre-installed. So if I target this one Ovi Maps base, I will be getting 50% potentially of the location-based services. Now, I think that's overstating it a little, but you look at companies like Ground Guidance, or Primordial, sorry, who do ground guidance that sort of provides off-road navigation. They built it on top of Ovi Maps. It's quite a compelling solution. And we'll see more and more of that sort of thing, or companies who want to launch their own sort of location-based thing. And when you bring in things like location triggering, which is a new part of the Symbian platform, is being built into Ovi Maps, the potential for creating a new ecosystem. At the moment, everyone talks about apps, but what about location apps? And to do location apps, you need a Maps platform. And that's what's important about Ovi Maps. So I actually think the deeper implications here are that Nokia are the first mover for creating the first Maps platform for third-party apps. And that's what this announcement is about, really, because that's the big deal. It's about the enabler in a few years' time. Location-based services, we've been talking about them for donkey's years. Location-based services are going to save mobile. They're going to be the next big thing. But it's always been a chicken and an egg situation. You've never been quite able to lay that location-based services golden egg because you haven't had the chicken. What Nokia are doing is essentially saying Ovi Maps is a chicken, because by creating a platform, they will enable developers to lay their golden eggs. Now, there's a lot of questions around execution, how well this is implemented, but this is the first time I see a clear sign that there will be a mass market mapping platform on mobile. It's pre-bundled in all of Nokia's handsets. Now, you think about the numbers involved, people have to download Google Maps at the moment, but from March onwards, every Nokia Symbian phone with a GPS in it will have this software pre-installed. In 12 months, that's going to be around 80 million handsets. Take that on another year, it's probably another 100 million, and so on, and so on. And you very quickly build up a significant user base, and that, I think, is the important strategic implication of the announcement today. Is it good news for Symbian? Yes, I think Symbian can use this as a case study to say, look, we're a horizontal platform. We run across multiple devices, from the 5230 at £100 to the N97 Mini at £450. Nokia are announcing it for 10 devices. In a couple of months' time, that'll be up to 30 devices. Nokia's advantage in using Symbian is they can roll out a service like this almost overnight. The timescales we're talking about here are unprecedented in mobile for rolling out a new service. You can reach, their tens of millions of Symbian users very, very quickly. And so that's the advantage that Symbian gives Nokia, and it's what they talked about at Capital Markets Day late last year. Symbian, yes, it's about the hardware, it lets them do cheap smartphones, but it also lets them roll out services very quickly, not just to new handsets, but also to old ones, and it's a single code base, relatively speaking. And compared to someone like Google, who are doing it with Google Maps for mobile, they have to recreate Google Maps Mobile for every platform. Now, clearly, they're going to have a big thing in Android, but Android doesn't yet match the scale of Symbian. So Google will have to engineer an open platform, an open mapping platform each time for Apple, for Android, for Symbian, to get anywhere close to matching Nokia's numbers. And that's the advantage that Symbian brings. And that's what Symbian can talk about. It's the platform advantage, because Symbian is the first true horizontal platform in the marketplace. Yes, you could do this on Java, but you wouldn't get the same level of rich functionality. So I think, yes, it's a great argument for why Symbian is a good decision for a device manufacturer like Nokia. Can they leverage that to other manufacturers? That's more questionable because you really have to be using it right across your portfolio to get that kind of advantage. But it does explain why Nokia is sticking with Symbian. I think it's interesting to see Nokia kind of get the message about launching services. Don't talk about it and then launch it 6 months later. Launch it the next day or the same day. And yes, you're right, they kept quiet, tight-lipped about this announcement. There was a lot of discussion going on about it. And I'm sure there'll be some feedback saying, oh, it's only a service announcement. But of course, this is far bigger than any one device, as we've talked about, has strategic implications that are much more far-reaching. And it's absolutely the right way to go, because it's the way to engage with the media in today's world where people read about it. They want to go and try it right now. So, having it available immediately, and people say it's only on 10 devices, but the logistical challenge of doing something like that is significant, and the fact is it's going to be on more devices very shortly, and the people who most want to play with this stuff probably already have the latest devices. So I think it's a step in the right direction for Nokia. They did something similar at Nokia World, but it was mainly beta services that were being announced then. This is the first big sort of consumer proposition that has been launched like this, and I for one would like to see more of it. So yes, Ewan used this great phrase, the democratization of navigation, and it's exactly what it's about. Just as a mobile phone brought democratization of, communication, SMS and calls, and just as everyone now has a camera because they've got a phone with them all the time, everyone, or at least all the Nokia Symbian owners, now have navigation with them anytime. And previously GPS navigation has been all about car navigation. That's why people buy TomToms. But actually the pedestrian navigation functionality within Ovi Maps is, I think, just as important. Traveling in a strange city, people often buy a map, don't need to do that now. It's already on their phone, it's ready to go, it's free globally, and I think that's really significant. And when you democratize something like this, you increase the use massively, and I think that creates all kind of positive vibes for Nokia from a consumer point of view. It feels like the consumer's been given this big new bite at something, and navigation and location is a big deal. This is about context sensitivity, and Nokia for a long time has said they're all about connecting people. And what this does is connect people to the real world because it's all about location.